Hello everyone, how is it going? Hope you're well. My name is Lachi and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to create a beautiful to-do list application with JavaScript. We'll be able to add to-dos and delete them. We are not using any frameworks or libraries. We are not using jQuery. It's just straight vanilla JavaScript. If you want to follow along with this tutorial, go ahead and download the starting files for this project, link in the video description. So let's get started. So I have my project open in my text editor and I have an index.html file where I have linked my style sheet, and we have also linked our app.js file. Inside the assets folder, we have a CSS and images folder. From here, go to the JS folder and open the app.js file. Now let's start by selecting our div with the ID of to-dos. So const to-do container equals document.getElementById. That's going to allow us to target our to-do div. Let's create a function to render our to-dos. I'm going to create a const render to-dos. I'm going to set it up as a function, and this function is going to take an argument for to-dos. Inside render to-dos, we are going to iterate over our to-dos. So that is to-dos dot for each. We are going to do something for each to-do, and what we are going to do, we are going to create some elements. So first up, const to-do elements equals document.createElement for making something brand new, and we'll create a div which will hold the checkbox and the to-do title. Then we are going to create an input for our checkbox. Finally, we'll create a paragraph element for the to-do title. After that, I'm going to add a class of item to our to-do element to apply styles we have in our style sheet. So to-do element.classlist.add, and we'll add the item inside the parentheses, and we'll use append child to add to-do element inside the to-do container. Then for our checkbox element, we'll set the input type to checkbox with the setAttribute method and append it inside the to-do element. And finally, we'll add the to-do title to our paragraph element by using the text content property. And we'll also append it inside the to-do element with append child that we have used before. Let's create an array for our to-dos. And within the array, we'll have an object with the ID and name of to-do. For to-do, we'll use the date.now with the toString function. And for the name, let's say test. Then we are going to call our render to-do function and refresh our page, and you can see we have successfully rendered our to-dos. I'm going to add one more element to our to-dos array. Let's copy the previous one, and for the name we'll say test2, and then we refresh, and you can see test2 is showing in our to-do list. Now let's work on adding a new to-do list feature. Inside our HTML file, you can see that our form has an ID of add to-do. Let's use it to target our form. I'm going to create a new variable to-do form and use the document.getElementById with add to-do inside the parentheses to select it. Then we will add an event listener to our form. We will use the submit event. Within the callback function, I'm going to call the prevent default function to stop the default actions that occur on form submission. Now let's select the value of our input, e.target.elements.newItem.value. Now we will check if the input is empty or not. If so, we will just return and do nothing. If the input is not empty, we'll add that to our to-dos array. After that, we are going to clear the user input and call a render function to re-render our to-dos. Now if we refresh and try to add something new, we can see it is added to our to-dos successfully. But there's a problem with this approach. Let's think what's gonna happen when we are calling render to-dos multiple times. Each time we call render to-dos, we are rendering more to-dos. That means these to-dos are not going anywhere. We are just going to add more stuff at the bottom. And this is not what we want. To fix this, every time we call our render to-dos function, we need to clear all the previous to-dos and re-render our new to-dos. So to-do container.innerHTML equals an empty string. Now if we click on this checkbox, I want to delete that item. To add this feature, I'm going to add an event listener. So checkbox.add event listener, and in this case we'll use the click event, and then we are going to log that to do on our console. Now if we refresh and click this and go to my console, our node will appear. Let's click on the other one, and as you can see we have that showing up in the console. Now I'm going to create a new function, const remove to do. I'm gonna set it up as a function, and this function is going to take an argument of to do id. Inside the remove to do function, we are going to find the index of click to do. So const to do index is equal to find index. Inside this we will return where to do id equals the id provided. The find index function will return the index of to do, and if it can't find a match, it returns -1. So we are going to check if the to do index is greater than -1. If so, todos.spice to do index, and for the second argument I'm going to pass 1 because we only want to delete one item. And then we are going to call this function when we click on the checkbox and re-render our to-dos. And now if we click on the checkbox, it will delete that to-do. Let's add a new item and click on the checkbox, and we can see it deletes that to-do. You may have noticed if we add something new to our to-do list and refresh, all of our new items are gone. This is because we are not saving our data anywhere. To fix this, we are going to save our to-dos in local storage. Let's start by removing all the to-dos from our array. Then we are going to create a new function, const create to-do, and this function will take an argument for to-do name. From this function, we are going to return an object with to-do id and name. Then we are going to create another function, const save to do, and this function will take to-do list as an argument. Inside the function, we will save our to-dos in the local storage. So local storage dot set item. Then we will use json.stringify function to convert our to-dos to convert to a JSON string. Inside our add new to-do form, we'll add the create to-do function. So const new item equals create to-do parentheses, and we are going to pass the new item value. So e.target.elements.newItem.value. Then I'm going to pass the new item to todos.push function. And finally, we'll call the save to do function. Then in our to-dos array, we are going to get all of our to-dos from the local storage, and if we can't find it, we will use an empty array. So local storage.getItem to-dos or an empty array. And now we are going to refresh and add some more items. And refresh again. Oops, we have an error on line 7. This is because we have converted our to-dos object to a string with json.stringify function, and now we cannot call todo.id or name. To fix this, we need to parse the string as JSON. So we are going to wrap local storage.getItem in parentheses and call json.parse function. Now if we refresh, all of our items are showing. We can add something new, refresh again, and our items are saved in local storage. Now inside render to-dos, we have this part which generates our to-dos. Let's wrap this in a function. So const generate to-do DOM. This function will take the to-do item as an argument. Now we are going to cut that code and paste it in here. And then call generate to-do DOM function inside the render to-dos. Now you may have noticed that if we try to remove an item from the list, our first item gets removed. Let's take a look at our local storage. And as you can see, to-do ID is not being generated correctly. Let's go ahead and check out our create to-do function. And this is happening because I made a typo here and we are not actually calling the now function. Let's fix that, and now let's clear the local storage and refresh. I'm going to add some new items. and delete them. Add another item, refresh, and everything works fine. Hi guys, it's Lachi from the future and I'm here to fix a bug that we have in our application right now. You may have noticed that if we try to delete an item from our to-do list and refresh, the deleted item appears again. And this is happening because after deleting the item from our to-dos array, we are not saving the to-dos array to local storage. To fix this, let's go to a remove to-do function, and after the slice function, I'm going to call the save to-do function. And now if we refresh and try to delete some items, and then refresh again, as you can see, this works perfectly. That's it for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, let me know if this video was helpful, and be sure to click subscribe to get notified when I upload new videos. And I'll see you next time.